Hey everybody, it's Steve here. Fable Fortune has officially gone free to play, which means many of you are now joining the rest of us who have been collecting and building decks for about 7 months now. I'm guessing you may have already played a few matches and promptly had your asses handed to you. You might not have even understood what was happening to you, or cards might not have behaved like you thought they should, but don't worry. I'm here to help you get up to speed with what you need to know to stand toe-to-toe with the rest of us. That rhymed. Oh my god, am I nailing this? It kind of feels like I'm nailing this voiceover. Anyways, I'll go over various types of cards, important gameplay mechanics, card management, as well as give you some kind of idea what's going on with PvP and in-game currency. Let's get to it. I don't plan on spending too much time with the basics. There's a tutorial for all of that, plus if you've ever played Hearthstone or even Elder Scrolls Legends, you've already got a pretty good understanding of this game's essentials. You take turns casting creatures and spells in an effort to bring your opponent's health to 0. Your decks are based around one of 6 heroes who have cards specifically associated with them, as well as a wealth of neutral cards too. Each leader has a power that can be activated at the cost of a few coins. That's pretty standard stuff, right? Well, there's a bit of a twist here, and this is where Fable Fortune starts to shine. In each match, there will be a series of quests to choose from. It could be something like play 3 cards that have more strength and health, or spend X amount of coin. And once you've completed that quest, you'll gain a morality point, which does a few things. First off, you'll be prompted to decide how you'll resolve that quest, with either a good or an evil decision. Your hero power will actually change based on the decision you make. Okay, so let me give you an example. The Alchemist's standard power gets you a random vial that you can use to buff a card. If you choose a good morality point, the power will evolve to give you an even more powerful random vial. On the other hand, if you choose evil, the power will allow you to choose which standard vial you'd like. So one offers potentially more powerful buffs, and the other offers more control over which buffs you receive. Interesting, right? The next thing that happens when you complete a quest is you are awarded a reward card. Reward cards are cards that are usually quite beneficial, but are only obtainable through quest completion. The final consequence of completing a quest and gaining a morality point is the ability to transform morality cards. We'll look at a few examples here. First, we'll look at the bank clerk card and explain what you need to know. Okay, so right here you'll see the card reads Morality 1. That indicates you need 1 morality point to transform this card. A quick note here, your morality cards can only transform when they are played. So if you don't have enough morality points when playing them, you won't get any of the useful effects of the transformation. Anyways, back to the bank clerk. Let's look at his good transformation first, the philanthropist. This card has a big entrance ability, which means something happens when you play the card. In this case, playing the philanthropist gives all units in your hand +1 strength and health. The evil variant called Inside Trader has a last laugh ability, which means its effect is activated once the card is killed. So when the Inside Trader is killed, the cost of all cards in your hand are reduced by 1. It's easy to see the kinds of potential evolving strategies at play here. You'll get 3 opportunities to make a morality decision, and sometimes your decision will be motivated by having your hero power behave a certain way, and other times your decision will be motivated by the cards in your hand. Alright, we've learned about big entrance and last laugh, but there are some more types of cards you'll need to understand too. Cards with deflect have a shield and can absorb 1 hit from an enemy without taking actual damage. Cards with rush can attack the same turn they are played. Cards with safeguard have an ability that is activated whenever they are placed in guard. Playing a card that silences another unit will remove any buffs and improvements it's been altered with, and it will also remove the card from guard. Some cards can stun others. When a card is stunned, it's unable to attack during its next turn. A card with Eulogy has a power that will be activated as long as a friendly card died this turn. Some cards can be trained too. When you train a card, you are able to choose from 3 different improvements that card will receive. A handful of cards can also be lazy, and that essentially means they can't be put into guard the same turn they were played. If you're playing the Merchant, you'll have the opportunity to play cards with Invest. When playing a card with Invest, you'll have the option to spend additional coin on its casting and gain some kind of benefit from it. And last but definitely not least, there are trophy cards. Each deck is required to have one trophy card assigned to it. A player gets their trophy card if they don't get the first turn. Let's talk card management for a bit. This stuff might not be mega useful to you right away, but it'll be good to keep in mind as you progress. If we go into the cards section here, we'll look at the cards I have, and we'll pay specific attention to the number of each card I have. So on this page, we see I have 2 separate listings for Heartless Lancer. That's because the one on the left is the standard version, and the one on the right is a fancy version, which is a bit rare and definitely a lot more fancy. We'll come back to the fancy card in just a moment. If you look beneath any card on this screen, you'll see the amount of that card I have. So, if we again turn our attention to the Heartless Lancer, we'll see that I have 12 of that card. That is way too many of that card, and I'll explain why. In any deck, you can only have 2 of a single card. So that means I have 10 too many Heartless Lancers. Now what you can do with those extra cards is break them down into a currency called ink. What ink does is let you craft cards that you might want. So let's take a look here. I will get 10 ink for each one of these duplicates I break down, for a total of 100 ink. Now let's hop back to the fancy version of this card. If I were to break down this single fancy card, I would get 100 ink from it alone. Now you see the value of fancy cards. They are much more valuable from an ink perspective if you're willing to play with the drab cards of a peasant. The amount of ink you get from a card is based on its rarity tier. So, a green card will get you 5, while a fancy green gets 40, a blue gets you 10, a fancy blue gets you 100, purple gets you 50, a fancy purple gets you 300, yellow's gonna get you 100, and a red will get you 400 ink. Now, in terms of actually crafting, things may be a little confusing. The info you see on screen isn't actually correct. I verified this with Sirith, who is a developer via the Fable Fortune subreddit. Even though it currently says you'll need to collect certain items to craft cards, that is not the case. You will only need ink to craft cards, and the amount of ink the game tells you need is actually accurate. Now that you know what to do with your duplicates, you're probably interested in getting some. So, I'll tell you about the PvP ladder, daily quest, and all methods of generating in-game currency. If you're not interested in buying card packs with real money, you'll need to earn 1,000 silver to buy a pack of cards. That may seem like a steep amount to earn, but Fable Fortune's economy is really generous. There are a number of ways to earn silver, and the easiest is playing the PvP ladder. Each match you'll play, you'll earn currency no matter the outcome. I'm not exactly sure how the amount of silver you are awarded is calculated, but I can tell you that losing does not necessarily mean you'll get significantly less silver. I tracked my silver over the span of 6 matches, and sometimes when I'd lose, I'd get almost as much as when I'd win a match. So even if you don't win, your time isn't wasted. That's not to say winning isn't more beneficial. In fact, it's very much worth your time to win for a number of reasons. As you win matches in PvP, you'll earn medals. For every 5 medals you win, you'll climb to the next bracket and earn a small reward for doing so. Sometimes the reward will be a special card, occasionally it'll be a card pack, but a majority of the time it'll be 125 silver. I should note that when you win, you are awarded 3 medals, and a loss will get you a single medal still. There are 20 tiers to climb, requiring a total of 100 medals per season. After that, you unlock that season's Hero League PvP ladder. The Hero League PvP has an entirely different medal economy, but don't worry about that right now. Just focus on climbing the ladder. And finally, the most rewarding way to earn silver is by completing daily bounties. You'll get to choose from an easier bounty for less silver or a harder bounty for a greater reward. Early on, when your library is a bit slim, it might be worth taking the easier challenges until you've gathered some better cards and have a better shot at beating veterans like myself. The last bit of knowledge I want to impart to you is build your decks according to the PvP quests. You'll have a much easier time earning morality points and reward cards if you have a deck that plays into the quest of that season. This also means you should be rebuilding your decks every season when the quests change. If you're not sure what the quests are, you can find that info by going to the PvP season and selecting View Quests. That's all I have for you guys. I hope this helps you hit the ground running and kickstarts your ability to earn some silver and build some sweet decks. I'll see you guys in the PvP ladder. Good luck!